Oh boy. Mariners win 3-2 in 10 innings. They improved to 47-37 on the season. They take the first of a 3-game series against the Minnesota Twins. This was a goofy game. Go over the scoring plays because they are something. In the fifth inning, this was a weird game. Josh Rojas doubles to right to score Mitch Haniger. We'll talk about it to make it 1-0. Top of the sixth, Carlos Correa, who is just on flipping fire. Homers to left center to score Willie Castro. That makes it 2-1 in the middle of the sixth. The Mariners get another one in the eighth. Julio Rodriguez is safe on a throwing error by Jose Miranda that scores Luke Raley 2-2. And in the 10th, Cal Raleigh grounds into a fielder's choice to score J.P. Crawford 3-2. Mariners win. All right, before we get into the positives, the negatives, all the stuff that we always do, it was great seeing a bunch of you today at Druids Glen. I can't talk today. Druids Glen for the Mayor of Maple Valley Open or whatever the heck Ian calls that tournament. It doesn't matter what he calls it because it's an awesome event that raises money for stuff that everyone should be passionate about. And it was awesome to see a bunch of friends there, a bunch of fans of Mile Y and Molly Want Monday there. It was just really cool. It was really cool. I had an amazing conversation with Mark Holinsky, the dad of Tyler. I'll talk about it more on Monday. Yeah. Some of you know that's a subject that's very yeah. Anyway, it's great seeing so many of you out there. Let's talk about this game. The negatives, this offense was not very good today. Not very good at all. Canzone had a really rough day. Really rough day. Julio did not have a very good day, but we'll talk about some positives for Julio in a second. GP had a pretty rough one. It was just a bad offensive game. And look, credit to Bailey Ober here too, who has pitched much better than his ERA indicates. I realize his complete game yesterday. I guess it's the 1920s and people are just throwing starts after each other. I realized that his really strong start in the previous one came against the Oakland Athletics. But if you strike out 10 with only 89 pitches thrown, there's a reason Bailey Ober is very, very liked by a lot of people. A lot of people. He can pitch. The Mariners make too many guys look like Bailey Ober, though. You know, there's just too many of these starts against them. Just too much of it. Haniger struggled. We talked about Canzone. Man, oh man. That was bad. That was a very poor effort. And look, Dominic Canzone, by June, has maybe been the Mariners' best hitter. And that's not really darning with faint praise. The numbers in June are really good, or they were. I think they went down today and might have gone down with a couple of other outings, but not good enough. Mariners have to improve this offense. Have to. Any negatives for the pitching? My only negative for the pitching was I would have let Logan Gilbert keep going. And before we talk about Logan Gilbert and get into the positives, let's thank Simply Seattle for providing the very best in Seattle sports gear. Awesome stuff for the Mariners, the Kraken, the Seahawks, the Storm, the Huskies, the Sounders. They're the very best. And once you find all that great stuff, use code MOLLYWOP15 to save 15% off your order. MOLLYWHOP15. It's a great deal from great people. When you use that code, you're not only helping yourself by saving 15%, you're not only helping Simply Seattle by, taking their business, or you know what I mean. And you're also helping us by showing you're paying attention to the show. So please, whenever you shop at Simply Seattle, please use code MOLLYWOP15 when you can, because You should. You should. MOLLYWHOP15. Link in the description. All right, so let's talk about Logan Gilbert. I mean, it was far from dominant, and there were some atom balls, which means not. It's a very clever play on words. Whoever came up with that, man, I hope you got paid for it because it's a good phrase. There were some line drives that were just right at dudes. So credit to the Mariners' defensive positioning. But I thought Logan Gilbert still pitched really well. I thought he pitched really well. And he was kind of due to give up some runs. You give up no runs over 16 innings of work in your last two. It's hard to keep going with that. And outside of a Carlos Correa homer, and it wasn't even that bad of a pitch to Correa. It caught too much of the plate, but, was fairly down. He just golfed it out. Something Carlos Correa is just murdering pitching staffs right now. He was hitting 389 for the month of June coming into today, and that went up because he went 2 for 4. I know how that math works. Maybe not goes up a ton, but 500 is definitely higher than 389. But yeah, solid job by Gilbert, and I would have liked to have seen him go another inning. I think he would have been, I thought he was throwing well enough to get that extra inning, only 92 pitches. I'd like to see some 105s, as we get deeper into the year, but I also understand they're going to be careful, and that's just the way baseball works, folks. But after Gilbert left, the bullpen was awesome. Austin Voth gets the job done. Colin Snyder gets the job done. Andres Munoz gets the job done. Ryan Stanek gets the job done. Now, they only had one strikeout among them, but that has more to do with the aggressiveness. Aggressiveness. Did I turn into Sylvester the Cat? They threw, let's see here, 12 plus 6 is 18, plus 8 is 26, plus 9. They threw 4 innings, hit only threw 35 pitches. The most anybody threw was 12, which, by the way, means everybody should be available for tomorrow. Everybody. And that's great. That's awesome. This is a big series. This is a big old homestand. Offensively positives. Mitch Haniger reached twice via walk. Josh Rojas had a nice day at the plate, although did strike out in a pretty huge situation, but does get the RBI double. Nobody had that good of offensive game that we need to go into it. Let's talk about how lucky the Mariners were to score these 3 runs. And let me preface this with, I don't care. I don't care that they were lucky. I would much rather be lucky than good, because lucky usually means you are good, and enough good will happen. Of course, I would rather just actually be good and win 125 games because you're better than everybody else, right? That's not going to happen. So a lucky night like tonight is not one to go, oh no, shake my head, how lucky were the Seattle Mariners? It's to say, oh, heck yeah, the Mariners were lucky and got a much-needed victory. Let's just go over those scoring plays. The first one on the Josh Rojas double, awesome hit. Drove it into the gap, into the corner. The corner of the gap, or the gap of the corner. And Maniac sends Mitch Haniger, and I kind of get it. In fact, I get it completely. The next guy at the plate was going to be Crawford, and, he was having a little bit of a rough day. And you're just trying to make a play there and hoping for a bad throw. Well, you didn't get a bad throw. And Mitch Haniger, if that ball was fielded cleanly, is thrown out by 20 feet. Mitch Haniger didn't even bother sliding. He was that sure. I assume that's why he didn't slide. He was that sure that his goose was cooked. But Christian Vasquez made a horrible play on that ball. Horrible. There's run number 1. Run number 2 comes on an air by Jose Miranda. And here's what I want to say about Julio. And again, not a great day. Julio's not even coming close to good enough as of late. Not even close. But he did make a couple of big plays in this game. Number 1, defensively, he made a terrific sliding catch. He made one I don't know if he had to leap on that ball, but it was a nice read off the bat. Very good defensive game. And what happens on that play in the 8th is speed. If you don't think Julio Rodriguez's speed made a difference on that throw, you're crazy. You're insane. Julio Rodriguez's speed made a difference. Jose Miranda is not rushing that throw. If it's Ty France, he's practically running the ball into first base. By the way, Ty France had a very good defensive day today, too. Very good. Before anybody accuses me of just ignoring good Ty France stuff. What a weird world I live in. And then Julio falls behind, and he did miss some very hittable pitches in the 10th inning, and I was getting very frustrated because they were middle, and they're balls that he should shellac. But he doesn't strike out. He hits the weak grounder, but he puts the ball in play, and he gets the runner to third base. And guys, putting the ball in play matters. Every time it seems like the Mariners put the ball in play in clutch situations, good things happened. I'm not asking for weak contact. I'm just asking at times for just contact. I don't think it's too much to ask sometimes. Not at all, in fact. So that run's lucky, and then Cal Raleigh, it's just a 45-footer, 60-footer maybe. Little weak ground ball. But the runner's at third, and they had no shot to get Crawford at the plate. None. Nope. And I don't want to go too gaga about clutch big dumper because he hit the ball 45 feet. But he did hit the ball. And you get the win. And your offense is just good enough to give you that W with your pitching outstanding. One pitch away from being beyond outstanding, whatever the next term you want to use, sensational, whatever. And were the Mariners lucky tonight? Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah, they were lucky. They were absolutely fortunate to score all 3 of those runs. I don't care. Is it, you can, another night, perhaps, I can talk to you about how crappy this offense is and how very little of what happened tonight is sustainable. No, when you come off a 3-6 road trip, you don't care. You just get the W, you move on, and you sure hope you start playing better, and you sure hope that your front office makes the move to help this franchise get closer to a World Series. What a goofy win, but a win regardless. Please hit like, please hit subscribe. Thank you guys so much. Sorry for my little emotional outburst there. It is just such an important subject to me. And please tune in to Mollywop Monday on Monday, where I can kind of talk about that conversation I had. It meant a lot. And you know what? I don't say this very often. Today for Tyler Helinski, I'm going to give you a go Cougs. Go Cougs. Because, yeah. Good win. Lucky win, but a good win.